All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I am the Inland Empire Informer and also local troublemaker. You name it, I've been there. I've done that. So good morning to you guys. It is 11:32. It is July 21st, 2020. Still in the pandemic, still got a lot of stuff going. I am actually on my desktop today because I got to be on my desktop. But I wanted to thank those people who understood what I was saying about John Lewis, longtime congressman and a civil rights activist. And a lot of people, especially the baby boomer generation, jumped on me because they did not interpret what I was saying a certain way. And they immediately went on the defensive, immediately, right? Because when you attack civil rights or so-called black leaders, and this is John Lewis behind me, longtime congressman, civil rights activist. When you attack black leaders, or you're perceived to attack black leaders, I mean, people just want to go ham on you, and they don't understand what you're saying. So let me surmise this really quick. And this is where this is all started. I live in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, and I saw these kids in my neighborhood that I know, and I'm walking my dog, and they come up to me and they say, "Oh, did you hear John Lewis died?" I said, "Yeah, I heard." They go, "Yeah, he's an icon." They say he's an icon because the kids were trying to tell me, what they knew about John Lewis and stuff like that. That's what kids do. They want to tell you, and they're excited, and they think they know. And so I asked the question to them. I said, "Really? What makes John Lewis an icon?" And they couldn't tell me. I said, so I'm asking the kids. So I said, what makes him an icon? Well, the TV said he's an icon, and he did these things, and he got beat up. And that's the only thing that they got out of whatever they saw, is that he got beat up. And I thought to myself, and I said, wow, we've got the national media putting into these children's heads that John Lewis is an icon because he got beat up. So as I'm walking my dog, I ponder this question. And so I go and, I'm talking to some friends of mine, and older friends, of course, they're the baby boomer generation. And they're all, John Lewis had recently died. And they're all like, "Oh my gosh, he's an icon. He's an icon. Oh my gosh, he did, he's just this great man." And I said, "Well, what makes him an icon?" And they couldn't tell me. How are you going to tell me a person is an icon and you can't educate me on why he is an icon? This one lady told me, "Well, he took a beating so that you could be where you're at." That's bullshit. That is bullshit. John Lewis didn't even know me. Okay? I wasn't even born yet. So that's bullshit. He didn't take a beating so that I can be where I'm at. I'm where I'm at because of my hard work. I didn't take advantage of affirmative action programs because they don't have that in the military. Okay? So that's bullshit. But again, I stood my ground and I said, what makes John Lewis an icon? Educate me. Well, he was in the civil rights. Okay. My parents were in the civil rights. He registered people to vote. Okay. My parents registered people to vote. Washington thing. A lot of people spoke at the Washington Memorial speech with Dr. King. He worked with Dr. King. People work with Dr. King. Never did I once disparage this man. Never once. Now, if you want to talk about his political record, we can talk. But we're not talking about the political record. We're talking about a civil rights record. So all those things make him an icon? If that's your definition, okay. It's not my definition, but if that's your definition, all right. Symbolism, you guys, symbolism. Okay. Did John Lewis do a lot in the civil rights movement? Absolutely. 20-something years old, and you're out there with Martin Luther King and all these, big people in the movement. Yeah, that's an accomplishment. But it's a little bit more than that he did. You know what I mean? But see the symbolism of what the media is projecting for you, because they know Black people fall for symbolism. All those kids got of whatever they saw is, and you saw it in the media yourself. Oh, he walked across Jerry Pettis Bridge and he got beat brutally. That happens to Black people every day. Every day. Nobody's disparaging this man. He did the best he could at what they know. The baby boomer generation, in my opinion, their golden apple was to be able to go eat at a white establishment, to go shop at a white establishment, to go take a shit at a white establishment. That was their thing, and they got it, and they're good. Problem is in the 1970s, and that's 1970s, the ball hasn't moved forward. Now, if you're asking me, a person who's fighting against a system of oppression then turns around and joins that system, okay, okay, he joined the system. He's going into the system to change it. Okay, great. But we're not talking about his politics right now, because if you look at his politics, isn't so great, in my opinion. We're talking about a civil rights record. So I want to show you guys a little something about why John Lewis is a civil rights titan. I'm not going to say icon. And the reason, it's just amazing to me how everybody talks about, oh, the greatest basketball player of all times is Michael Jordan. Based on what? Oh, he's got 6 rings. Magic's got 5, and he went to the championship, I think, 9 times. Robert Horry has 7 championship rings. Robert Horry. But they say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all times. But if you go by the statistics, the actual numbers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player of all times. He still holds the scoring record. He had a shot that was unstoppable. Kareem, I think, he was the MVP 6 times. How many rings does Kareem have? I think he has 5 or 6. But do you guys see my point where I'm going in this? I can tell you everything about the basketball greats and these greats and that greats. But when it comes to our heroes, a lot of us know very little about them. And I'm the kind of person that, even though I might have an idea of what you're talking about, I want to know if you know who this man is and what he did. I know what he did. Now, he got his ass beat for anybody. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No. We're not taking that. He didn't know me. He doesn't know a lot of people. So that's bullshit. It just so happens on that day, he got his ass beat. I don't think he woke up one day and just said, oh, I'm going to get my ass beat so that Black people could do whatever. No. So that's a false narrative that the baby boomers love to throw in your face. Okay. But again, I think it's a damn shame if you were in that era and you don't know anything about this man. This man organized voting in the South. That is very true. But that wasn't his first job. His very first job when he went back to the South, because he's from Alabama, was a freedom rider. He was a freedom rider. That was his mission, to be a freedom rider. And then later on, he went down to help voting registration. Now, did he help Black people vote Black candidates? No, he helped people vote Democrat. Look where we're at. Okay? But that's what he did. Okay? Somebody told me, this one baby boomer told me, well, he helped register 3 million people to register because he was head of that coordinating committee or whatever it was. Not true. 1973, John Lewis became the chair of the registration thing for whatever group he was a part, because yes, he was in charge for a little while of SCLC, the Student Coordinating Committee, which was under Dr. King. But then Stokely Carmichael came in and kicked his ass out. These are facts, and that was in the late 60s. But that doesn't take away from his work. So how are you going to sit there and tell me, I got a comment here. Oh, it's Shannon. Hey, Shannon. Got up early. I always got to get up and get shit off my mind. How is your tooth? So we got the comments going. You know, I never click the comments. I don't know why. So this is what's happening, okay? So I'm going to show you guys a video of why John Lewis is a titan of the civil rights movement, because he was one of the big six. But do not sit there. I think it's a crime when you tell people this person's an icon, that person's an icon, and you can't really say anything about their background to educate that person that's asking you the question. And because I was asking them the question, they get upset. Why are you getting upset? I'm just showing you that you don't even know the man you're talking about. You don't know anything about this man technically, other than what the soundbite told you. It took a friend of mine that is from Alabama. She knew exactly what I was talking about. So when I asked her, why is John Lewis an icon? She went bam, 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 bam. That's why. That's my point. You just can't go and give people labels and not educate the people that telling. So what I want to do for you guys, I want to show you guys this video. So let's get into it real quick. And we are going, oh, there it is. Sorry, guys. Oops. It's not letting me do it. There it is. There it goes. Okay. We're going here. Nope. We're going here. There we go. So I got this video I'm going to queue up for you guys, and this is going to tell you a little bit of why John Lewis is a civil rights icon. All right.
Now, US presidents past and present from across the political divide have paid tribute to one of the leading figures in the American civil rights movement, John Lewis. He died at the age of 80. He was one of the organisers of the 1963 March on Washington, when Martin Luther King made his I Have a Dream speech, which Evie Vyden looks back at his life.
John Lewis dedicated his life to fighting racism. He marched alongside Martin Luther King and lived to see a black president. Born in Alabama in 1940, John Lewis grew up in an America that was deeply segregated.
I would come home and ask my mother, ask my father, why segregation, why racial discrimination? They would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble.
Baby boomers, that's the way it is. What do you tell your kids right now?
They get in trouble.
As a student activist, he became a close ally of Dr. Martin Luther King. Racial injustice by white mobs as he peacefully protested segregation on buses.
You arrest me? You beat me? You throw me in jail? Well, what else can you do to me?
In 1963, John Lewis was the youngest speaker at the March on Washington, where Dr. King delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech.
who that crowd who was prepared to go back to the American South and fight the good fight.
And so they did. 2 years later, marching for voting rights for African Americans. They walked from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, where they were attacked by police. By the 50th anniversary of that march, John Lewis had become a politician, known as the conscience of the US Congress.
I don't know why, but okay.
A rare honor in this life to follow one of your heroes. And John Lewis is one of my heroes.
And it was
Barack
Obama
who
who
awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor, when he was 70. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last year, John Lewis was seen at recent protests after the killing of George Floyd.
We must keep the faith, keep our eyes on the prize.
John Lewis lived through many chapters of the civil rights movement. His mantra was simple: never give up, never give in.
John Lewis, who died at the age of 80.
Man, that is what you call, let me get out of this, I'm sorry, you guys. That right there is what you call a titan of the civil rights movement. And notice, that was the BBC. Do you see how much information the BBC gave you in that little short clip about John Lewis? Compare that to the sound bites you get here in America in regards to Black people. They know you guys like to be mentally masturbated. They're telling you this guy's an icon, but they don't tell you why. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Shannon says it's two different voices talking. It's weird sounding. It's probably the internet system itself. But anyway, we're done with the video, so it's no big deal. But I wanted to kind of share that with you guys, to let you guys know that this is a titan. He was there. He put in the work. But notice they only are concentrating on his civil rights history. They are not saying a damn thing about his political history. Why? He was in politics longer than he was in civil rights. But I'm shitting on him. I'm shitting on this man. How? I've never disparaged this man one word. Not one word. Something for you guys to think about. Again, I want to thank you guys that have supported me, that understood what I was trying to say. They are mentally conditioning you to eat your own. We are not a monolithic people anymore. We're not. We all think differently as Black people. Some of us want to stay poor. You stay poor. Some of us are Democrats. Some of us are Republicans. Some of us are independent. Why are we like that? Let's ask the baby boomers what happened. I know this is hard to swallow for a lot of people, but if you came to me and said, hey, what do you know about John Lewis? I can tell you a hell of a lot of what that little clip showed you as far as his civil rights record. Now, if I asked you right now about John Lewis's congressional record, could you tell me anything about him? That's what I thought. You can't. You can't. I wonder if you really saw his congressional record, would you think that this person is actually for Black people? I'm just wondering. Because I looked at his record and he was for everybody. You saw recently how he capes for the Mexicans and the illegals. But all the CBC does that. Why is that? These are people that look like us that should be representing us, and we're not holding them accountable. As a politician, separate the two. Politician, civil rights activist. A revolutionary does not join the very system that exploited him. But he did. Matter of fact, a lot of civil rights people did. Something to think about. Rest in power. John Lewis, civil rights titan.